Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Ames. Glad you're all here. This is an exciting event. NASA takes this SBIR, STTR program extremely seriously. I've been involved in this program from the Ames Research Center for many years, and we've always been very eager participants in this program because we realize how important it is to work with the private sector. Here, we are in a rather unique position with respect to all of NASA centers because we are located in the heart of Silicon Valley. And this is a very rich ecosystem for partnerships, for entrepreneurial activities, and we are very engaged in that with our local community. At Ames, we have about 100 different private sector partnerships at any one time. We have the NASA Research Park, which hosts a number of external private sector partners as well as academic institutions right here on our campus. So, we've embraced partnerships for a long time. We see the value in it. It helps us leverage our activities and helps us tap into the innovative spirit that exists in the private sector and use that for NASA's benefit, at the same time helping those private sector entities advance their own efforts for their own reasons. So it's a win-win situation, and that's what this should be all about. It has to be a win-win situation. I'd like to welcome the representatives from other NASA centers and from the NASA headquarters mission directorates who are here today, who are going to participate with you and share with you some of their priorities, some of the activities that they're engaged in, and look forward to the kind of interaction that discussion will stimulate, and maybe stimulate some ideas with respect to how the various companies that you represent can work more closely with NASA. At Ames, we have a very broad research and development portfolio. We basically cover the entire spectrum of what NASA does. We do work for all of the mission directorates here. We have some of the agency's unique facilities located here at NASA Ames, and we provide the agency with some unique capabilities. In high-end computing, for example, we have the agency's largest high-end computing supercomputing facility. We're doing advanced research in quantum computing, and interestingly enough, in partnership with the private sector here at Ames. And quantum computing is a really interesting research frontier, and we don't know exactly where that will lead, but if it's a successful activity and leads to some computational breakthroughs, which we expect it will, I think it will change the whole landscape of computation, of encryption, of secure data, all sorts of possibilities. We are the major research activity within the Aeronautics Mission Directorate for air traffic management, and work very closely with the FAA to develop the next generation air traffic management system. And in conjunction with that, taking the opportunity to try to develop a unmanned aerial vehicle traffic management system for this burgeoning new world of unmanned aerial vehicles, which is upon us and is not going to stop. And the possibilities for that are limited only by your imagination at this point in time. So we're in preparation for what kinds of changes may occur with respect to the integration of unmanned aerial vehicles into the national airspace. We're working on a traffic management system for those vehicles as well. Very interesting research problems. For science, we just finished last week the fourth Kepler science meeting for the astrophysics community, and Kepler, it's a mission that Ames has led for a number of years now, has resulted in rewriting the textbooks for how we understand ourselves in relationship to the rest of the universe. Kepler has led to the discovery of literally thousands of new planets that we didn't know existed. And more importantly, it's led to the discovery that virtually every star out there most likely has many planets associated with that star. You think of the billions of stars in our universe, the hundreds of billions of planets that are out there. It's astounding. Are we alone? Well, we don't know, but not likely. Not likely. Kepler has rewritten the textbooks on that. So that's another activity from Ames. And I could go on and on. We have small sats. We really pioneered the use of small satellites and affordable spacecraft for NASA. It's a really interesting opportunity. We'll see where it goes in terms of what kinds of capabilities it delivers for the agency. But it has the promise of providing us with much lower cost missions in the future, where we can still bring back very useful science and interesting technology test beds using these very inexpensive, relatively inexpensive small satellite platforms. Let's see, in the area of earth science and biological sciences, we also have significant work going on in those areas. So for biological sciences, we're developing life detection instruments for use on planets in our solar system where we can ask the questions directly. Can we detect life? Can we detect evidence of previous life? Interesting questions, and we're developing instrumentation for that right now. We're also developing a lot of the infrastructure, the biological research infrastructure for asking fundamental biological questions on the International Space Station. How does prolonged exposure to microgravity and high radiation fields affect fundamental biological mechanisms? These are very important questions, and we need to understand the answers to these questions if we're going to send human explorers for long duration space trips to Mars, for example, or to settle the moon, to use the moon as a test bed before we go to Mars. These are very important questions, and I got 3 minutes. So I just want to wrap up by saying, we really value what you bring to us and what you could bring to us so that we could leverage your innovation. And I think you see the value in working with us, not only for the monetary benefits that you might get to do the work you want to do, but also for just the benefit of working with NASA. I mean, NASA is a great organization to work with.